Hello, and welcome to another edition of Michael Badaway Live. It's 10:18 Eastern Standard Time, and I'm glad you're joining us. Let's get started with the world today. We're going right to the COVID virus news because, well, it's top of mind for everyone listening. I want to thank everybody listening, everybody who's already subscribed, and everybody who's about to hopefully click subscribe. We're at 1 subscribers right now, trying to get to 1,000. So any little click you can do will really help. Even if you click the notification bell as well, you get notified every time we do a new video. So check that out, please, and thank you. Start with some virus numbers from around the world, worldwide perspective here. Okay, we've got 2.5 million human beings infected with COVID-19 across the globe. Of those, 177,000 of us have passed away. That's 7% of the total cases of the world. So not really great, but a lot of people are starting to take heed and starting to stay home, starting to socially isolate, socially distance, keep away from everyone and everything. It's kind of a very strange time, a lonely time it can be if you are living alone. My heart goes out to you. Know that you're not alone. I'm here with you. So 2.5 million people across the globe infected with COVID-19. 177,000 people thus far have passed away. I'm sorry to say. The largest country affected numbers-wise has been the United States, with 820,000 people getting the illness. Like, that's huge compared to Italy or Spain. They've got about 200,000 apiece. We're talking 4 times as many. I mean, obviously, there's way more people in the United States, but wow. I honestly think that it has to do with globalization and the amount of business that just happens to go through there. It's the only thing that makes sense to me. Nevertheless, it's nothing to scoff at. You got to take that seriously. 820,000 people infected. 45,000 people have passed away in the United States of COVID-19. That's a 5% death rate, which is lower than the world average, again, of 7%. Spain's got 204,000. Italy, 185,000. Canada, we sit at number 13. Always a lucky number 13 here in Canada. Right now, there's 38,000 of us infected with COVID-19. 1,800 Canadians have passed away. Again, that's a 5% death rate, and that's kind of concerning because when I first started doing these reports, the Canadian death rate was at 2.6 or 2.26%, and then it went up to 4%, and now it's at 5%. So not the greatest. Australia is doing the best for rate of death at 1%. Australia 40th in the world for number infected, 47 infected. Only 74 people have passed away in Australia. I shouldn't say only, because those are 74 people. Those are 74 of your grandmothers, your mothers, your fathers, your sisters, your brothers, your relatives. So it's kind of important. Egypt, the mother of the world, 3,490 people infected in Egypt, 264 deaths. They're right at the world average of 7%. So Egypt doing all right overall. A lot of countries now, going to pretty much martial law or having curfews and whatnot. Here in Canada, we don't have any curfew or anything per se, but you can call the number and tattletale on your neighbors if you're not pleased with how they're conducting themselves. On the one hand, I've talked a little bit about this with people I know, and there's 2 schools of thought. And the one hand is, well, we have to protect ourselves from ourselves. And on the other hand, tattletale lines on our neighbors. Like, I get it. I don't think anybody should be doing anything foolish right now. But when you hear a story about a guy taking his kid to the park and getting an $800 ticket, it kind of raises some questions as to what is the world coming to. If this is the new norm, then okay, the world sucks now. Let's just move on from COVID-19. Sometimes you just gotta push to the side. We'll get some other stuff right now. The Queen of England celebrates her birthday today. Happy birthday. Queen Elizabeth II turns 94 years young. So I do want to wish the Queen a very happy birthday and many more to come. Also on that list, actor Tony Danza. Hey, Tony Danza. Who's the boss? Will be back in a moment. Stick around. It's my Tony Danza. That's about all I got. But I think it's pretty good. We also have kindergarten, invented on this day in 1837. Kindergarten is actually a German word, so it was invented in Germany. And it's still around today. I remember going to kindergarten, obviously. You see it a lot. If you ever watch like the legislature channel or Parliament, the only difference between Parliament and kindergarten is that if you act out in kindergarten, you get sent to the corner for a little bit. Maybe if they were to implement that, things might be a little bit different. Anyhow, I digress and I jest. I merely jest. Anyhow, I have to say, the environment has been getting a lot better since this whole virus thing has occurred. So there is a positive way of looking at this. And we talked about this before. We'll talk about it again. What are you doing with your time? What are you doing with your life? There's a lot of negativity going around. There's a lot of horrible things in this world that you can concentrate on. Here in Canada, we had a horrible, horrible tragedy just the other day. And I was thinking about how I was going to touch on this. And, you've got 20 some odd people dead in a shooting rampage out east. And it's just, why? It's needless. It's absolutely senseless violence. And I think this is a time when people need to take stock of what's really important. I just don't understand how human life could be devalued to such a degree. May all the deceased rest in peace. Anyhow, coming at you live, unedited, this is Michael Badaway, wishing you a great night. See you tomorrow.